Now, this may come as a shock to a lot of you acoustic guitar owners, but did you know that there is a whole area of fretboard below the 5th fret that is also available to be played on an acoustic guitar? It took me probably 5 or 6 years to realize this myself, but we're going to talk about how to incorporate some of this fretboard into open chords, and the example that we're going to use is going to sound like this. So basically, all I'm doing here is I'm using 3 open chords that I'm sure you already know, and 1 scale played on 1 string. Now this is going to be in the key of G, the people's key, and all we're going to do is we're going to use 3 chords, G, a C, and a D, right? So those would be the 1, the 4, and the 5 chords in the key of G, all major chords, right? Now what we're going to do is incorporate 1 scale into it, the G major scale, and the way we're going to do this is a lot of different ways to do it. One of the positions we've talked about before is playing it like here in one position, but I want to do it just on 1 string, just to kind of hone in and focus on 1 single string, the G string, okay? So we're going to start with a G, go a whole step, a whole step, a half step, a whole step, a whole step, a whole step, and a half step, okay? Now, if we do this I just said that in intervals, whole, half, whole, half. That's a really good pattern to memorize because that'll give you the major scale on any string starting on any single note. But the way I want to kind of see this is break it up into 2 pieces. So the first one, we're just going to go G, A, B, C. And this is going to look more symmetrical because we're going to do this twice. So G, A, B, C, open, 2, 4, 5. Then we're going to do the same thing. Kind of like 2 frets, and 1 fret, but starting on the 7th fret. 2 frets, 2 frets, and 1 fret. We can do it with different fingers. However you want, just try to get these locations in your mind because we're going to start adding them and getting to them from open chords. So first we're going to start with just a G major chord. And we're going to play the first half of that scale. Now, it seems kind of thin, and that's one of the interesting things about how do you play single notes in a scale and combine them with chords but still have them thick? Because like if I'm just playing like this, there's such a volume disparity between the two. So one thing that we're going to do is we're going to add the open D string to every single note in this scale. And this sounds pretty good because D is the 5 of G, G, A, B, C, D. And the 1 and the 5 have a very special relationship within a key, and they always pretty much sound good together. So we can add this D note to this scale. Now if we do this, I'm gonna just use my fingers to hit the D and the G string and run through that same scale. And it kind of adds a little bit more volume, a little bit of glue to make it so it doesn't sound like you're playing a chord and then you're playing a scale. All right, so basically the first one we're gonna do is just play the G chord. And play those first 1, 2, 3, 4 notes of the G major scale. And then maybe play the G chord again. And all that was, I went to the 4th fret, 5, 4, 4, 5, 4, 2, 4, 2, open. And again, this is just a musical exercise you can do. Take these notes and be creative. Don't try to do what I'm doing. If you kind of like the sound of it, that's cool. It's like a good base to start from. But ultimately, I want you to be able to see these intervals and then kind of combine them in a way that you find to be musical, but you're also practicing a scale with chords at the same time. And these spaces in between the notes just kind of end up becoming part of your muscle memory, and your ear just kind of knows how far away you are from them. So it's a good musical exercise. But anyways, we're going to start with the G chord. Open, 2, 4, 5, back to G. And then we're going to go to the C chord, the 4 chord. And right there, what I did, I'm just altering the chords. This is another way to kind of build chords by seeing these notes in a scale. All I'm doing is I'm playing a C chord and I'm adding the 1, 2, 3, the third note in G, G, A, B, to this chord. With my pinky, I'm grabbing it right there. Now, if you know about chord building, we're adding a B to a C major, which this is a C major 7 voicing. It doesn't even matter. You don't even have to know that. You just know it's going to sound good because we're adding a note in the scale to a chord that is also in the scale. So a C. And then maybe the second time around on C. I'm just going down in here, starting on the 7th fret. 7, 9, 7, 5, 4. You'll already probably notice that what I'm playing is way different than the example that I said I was going to teach in the beginning, because I don't even remember what I was doing. It's just kind of a way to think in scales. So after we got G to C, now we're going to go to the D, the 5 chord. Maybe I can do something here. Same thing kind of like we did with the G chord. 2, 4, 4, 2, 4, 5, back to the C. Then maybe go higher. I'm just gonna go backwards through the scale. 12, 11, 9, 7. So D to the C. And then back to the G. So that last time around on the G, I just went straight up through the scale. G, open 2, 4, 5, 7, 9, 11, 12. And then this little guy at the very end, which is just an open G chord with the octave G. The 3rd fret, I'm mirroring the 3rd fret over the octave, which will always give me the same note, which is a G. And then just kind of adding that melody on top to kind of give it like a resolution, an end, right? You can play up and down on one string. You don't always have to think in scale shapes or arpeggios. There's a lot of different ways to come at it. So this is just one maybe thing you can add to your practice routine. Over chords, open chords, I think it sounds really cool on an acoustic guitar, and then just try to have fun with it.